Dave Shoiget and I go by hÚdarás na Gaeltachta. Agus tá fáilte we've got them in Shaharmaidin. Tarín no na put an fras la them is a current tata over ball. In newer miles and tamatic zero air a cruthú fhíseáin the non-social like no turasóireachta. Agus tá an more than go Wayne Denner in a newer miles as tushkit na hair and agus tamit rish faster reads will be like Wayne agus het na grow on perchuig agus ballachan simply agus ace the chun vína godini belly agus orla she agus bedna chun fhíseáin a dhéana le haid of no turasóireachta. Agus it was Shahart or urchleg beidir urgeleg brother is there on clay agus an kinds agus racham is lin so koma the way in kinds fhíseáin they come to sagen ag dera on no-codes they come to sagen the haidini chun fhíseáin a cruthú with hain mas mean no so initial television our body. You're all very welcome today, Fáilte. Maybe showing is my name, hÚdarás na Gaeltachta. We have delighted this morning to have Wayne Denner with us, who's going to talk about creating video content for social media for tourism. I've seen Wayne speaking at a few events in the last year, so I think I thought it'd be really good to share with us for our Gaeltacht businesses to be able to succinctly, I suppose, put your business out there in a video format. And we're all challenged with time and budget and everything else. And a lot of the projects here today in the room, I know I can recognize a lot of you, it's community-based projects or small businesses. You don't have marketing people, you don't have big budgets, but you need to be at the races and you need to be putting stuff up there. So looking forward to a really good morning. We'll probably be an hour and 15. Wayne's flexible if we need a bit more time, which is fantastic. He's a great talker, you're going to enjoy him. So the plan is, and look, we're very fluid, he'll do his piece and then at the end there'll be question and answers and we take a little break in the middle. When you tell us we want to take the break for a quick walk around halfway through, about an hour and a quarter maybe. What else do I want to tell you? Yes, we're going to do a competition and I'll talk a bit more about that later and Wayne will too, for a €250 voucher for all for one. So after the event, we'll invite people to create their own piece of video content and we'll judge them and get a voucher if that might inspire you, because there's no point, it's great to attend something, but it's really good then to actually put it into action straight away. So we've had a lot of responses of people that can't attend today, so we're recording it and that'll be up on our YouTube channel later. So look, without further ado, and Katie's in the background there, my colleague operating the Zoom controls, we'll hand over to you, Wayne. I think I've said all I need to say. Agus we're gave me the files of Van Stolkas and Maidson, agus Technisha Berish Egan Zerager, Mila Mahada. Welcome, Wayne. Fáilte.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming along to today's training. Just so I know on this end, if everybody could hear me on screen, can you give a big thumbs up with your little icon and let me know? Yes, you guys can hear me loud and clear. That is fantastic. I have a little bit of a precarious setup this end. There are multiple things happening and you'll hear how passionate I am this morning about technology and especially video content. So like I'm in a small studio here, there's a green screen behind me, there's lights here, there's a couple of cameras coming in, there's a monitor here, and this all helps really improve the sort of end experience for you guys watching along today. So hopefully it's a good experience for everybody. I'm going to be sharing, you'll be pleased to hear, the really simple ways to use video to reach your customers. That's the purpose of today's training and today's workshop. The other great thing about today's training and workshop is it's going to be very practically focused, because that's really important, because the thing about the practical aspects of it, once today finishes, I want you to go away and experiment, create video content, and we're going to be touching on the tools today that you guys can use, and all of the tools that I'm going to touch on, I use them on a regular basis. Most of them are free, which is fantastic, and it's already been mentioned about budgets this morning, and you know we're operating in difficult times, but there's a huge opportunity this year and potentially over the coming years to grow our businesses even further because of the staycation operation or opportunity. So we're going to hear me talk a little bit about that today. The good news is that everybody's got a smartphone, so that's the first thing that you're going to need. The other things are little apps and a few other small bits that I'm going to talk about as we move through our training today, so that you guys can sort of enhance and improve the quality of your video. So you're gonna get an idea on some of the equipment that you may want to explore. The good news is there's no big budgets required. It's just small, simple things that are available on Amazon and just little bits and bobs that absolutely make the video content much better for the end user. And I'm going to share those with you as well today. Don't worry if you don't remember half of the tools that I'm going to mention. That's perfectly okay, because I'm going to sort of give you a lot of information. I've got a handy little PDF guide that you're going to be able to download later on today, which will be delivered via email to your inbox, which has all of the tools and the links that you just need to click on in order to find them. Okay, so don't worry if you miss something along the way. If I sort of move over something and you haven't had time to write it down, I'll make sure that you have that really helpful resource available at the end. Okay, let's jump into the presentation aspect of today. And I know we're recording it as well. So for people who don't make it along today, that's going to be available. You guys are going to be watching it on a replay. So hello to everybody watching it on the replay or watching it on YouTube later on. Now just let me pop in here to my screen. Now, hopefully, you guys can now see me on screen in the presentation mode. Excellent. And down in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, I'm trying to work it out. I've got a monitor here and a monitor over here. So the title of today's workshop, guys, is really called, for me, Connecting with Your Customers, #staycation. That's the big opportunity this year. That's the huge opportunity for us all as consumers, as tourists, as visitors, but also as providers in your different businesses to tap into that opportunity that exists now. One of the, I suppose, few opportunities you might say as a result of COVID-19. We're not going to talk too much today about COVID-19. It's fair to say that we're all sort of fed up with that, and we're all looking to better times and fun times in the future. So this is really going to focus on how you can use video. So a little bit of information, guys, before we kick off this morning on myself. My name is Wayne Denner, and I've been involved in the social media, digital marketing, communication space now for over 25 years. One of my very early sort of claim to fame is that I set up a very early social networking website way back in the sort of the late 90s. And that was a website called outlastnight.com. And I grew that to a user base of over 85,000 registered users over a 3-year period. It was a really interesting time. The internet was only starting to evolve, but I seen that more and more people were starting to use technology, were starting to use the internet and social media as a way to market their business. So a lot of what I do is producing what we all call content. So content marketing. And in my business, it's really important that I am visible. And that's a key word today. The more visible you are, the more opportunity is going to be presented for you. So pushing out regular videos, podcasts, information on social media platforms is a key component on driving sales for your business. And the more visibility that you have, the more opportunities that you're going to get. And that's a fact. But don't get overwhelmed by, I'm only starting this now. How do I compete with all of these bigger YouTubers and content creators? That's not what you want to be thinking about today. You want to be thinking about starting and having the tools and the foundations in place in order to start to push out some content over the next couple of days and coming weeks that's going to help position your business so people know about what it is you do. So first and foremost and fundamentally for my businesses and what I do, I'm a content creator. I'm a marketing guy, and I use social media to create visibility for the things that I do. I'm also a camper van owner, and you probably can't see that down at the bottom because I'm kind of in the slide at the moment. And last year I bought my first camper van, and I'm really looking forward to getting out and about. In fact, over the next coming weeks, I'm going to be heading down to Kerry, and then I'm going to be making my way up the west coast, up towards Limerick, and then on up towards Galway and Clare and places like that, and even up towards Donegal before I come back down. So I'm looking forward to experiencing what the West Coast and indeed what the little gems of Ireland have to offer. So I want you to think of me today as your customer. And how do you reach people like me? How would I know that your business even exists? How would I know that the products or the services that you provide are available while I'm passing through in my camper van? And the way I find out about things is through my smartphone. I pick up my phone and I go into Google and I search for things to do, places to eat, activities to take part in, experiences. those types of things. And I'm going to talk a little bit more later on about how I do those types of things. So I'm very much the customer here today as well, which is great. And I want to be marketed to. I want to know about what it is you do. And I'm going to explain later on how you can use video to deliver that message to somebody like me, using social media platforms, but fundamentally focusing on the video storytelling element of you showcasing your business. Now, if you want to know any more information about me, you can stop by my website. There is other things that I do besides this, but today is going to be very much focusing on the marketing and the communication side of things. So what are we going to talk about this morning? We're going to talk about lots of different things this morning. We're going to talk about the opportunity, and we know there's an opportunity there. Yes, we have to deal with restrictions. Yes, we have to deal with government guidelines and these types of things. And unfortunately, we have to adapt our businesses to be able to navigate the COVID-19 world that we've all found ourselves in. But we have visitors and we have those opportunities out there, and it's about positioning ourselves so we're ready to grab those. So we'll talk a little bit about the opportunity that video provides. We're going to talk how you do all of this, which is really important. I've already mentioned your smartphone this morning, but you just don't want to be switching on your camera and hoping for the best, right? You want to have a little bit of a strategy. You want to have a little bit of a plan together. You want to know the smartphone apps that you're going to use to help your video look a little bit better. What about improving the audio quality and the overall stability of the footage? And how can you make it look at the best that it can possibly be? Now, I have a confession to make this morning. I am not a creative guy. I'm really not. Like, when you look at some of these slides coming up, like, it's taken me years to get it to that point. Like, if you go into YouTube later on today, and I always say this to people, if you're ever having a bad day, go into YouTube and Google my name. And just type in Wayne Denner into YouTube and hit enter, and go back to some of the real old videos that I put up like 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And just, you'll sit and smile, and it'll turn that bad day into a good day, because you'll be looking at those videos going, Jesus, what's this guy even talking about? And back then I hadn't a clue. I didn't know how to use video. But the point I'm trying to make is, the more that I did the video, the better that I became, the more comfortable, the more relaxed, and the more that I was able to deliver my message and get my message across. So I don't want you to panic today if you've never done any of this before, and it's a daunting thing, and you're maybe not comfortable sticking your neck out on camera and try to deliver a pitch or a bit of a message to your customers. Start small. And that's what I did. And I built it up over weeks and months and even into years. And I got more comfortable with using the equipment is the other thing. I invested a small bit of money into a microphone, handheld tripod for my camera, some lights and things like that. And a small editing app that allowed me to edit my footage together and make it look really slick, and cut out any bits that really didn't make sense. So you get better at this, the more you do it, you become more comfortable, and your videos start to get more engagement. And that's the big thing about it. So the how. Then we're going to talk about the when you should push all of this stuff out, and what social media platform should you use? Should you use YouTube over Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram? And where do you even start? We're going to look at that as well. And then finally, we'll look at some of the video tools that you can use. And again, most, in fact, if not all of these tools have a free version or some form of free version. At some point, you may want to upgrade it to get some more extra features. But most of them we're going to touch on today will have some form of freemium. That's the word, freemium version that you can use, which will help get you up and running and started. Now, if there is any questions that you guys have along the way, that's okay. We're going to take a little comfort break, probably about 10, 15 or so. So you guys could take 5 minutes, stretch your legs, grab a glass of water or a quick cup of tea, and then we'll do a little quick if there's a question that somebody wants to ask at that point. And then right at the end, we'll have plenty of time at the end. Again, I'm not in a rush out the door. I'm here to serve you guys today, help you guys answer any questions that you have. And again, if you maybe don't have a question right now, and next week, 3 weeks down the line, or you think of a question, my contact information will be available at the end, and you guys can shoot me an email, and I'll absolutely come back to you hands down. If you want me to pop in on my camper van as I'm making my way up the West Coast, please feel free to reach out and let me know about that. I'll certainly
It'll be
come and visit as well, and maybe I'll even record some video footage as well as I'm there for you passing through. Okay, let's move on. So when it comes to video, I want you to remember a couple of key things this morning, okay? It's got to be fun, okay? You got to keep it fun, because if it becomes laborious for you to do, or you just don't want to do it, and it becomes something like, oh God, I got to do a video now, you're not going to want to do it, let's face it, okay? So you want to keep it fun. And for the most part, most of my videos are fun to do. I actually really enjoy doing them now, because it gives me an opportunity to do something a little bit different and push a piece of content out into the world that somebody might see. And you never know who's going to come across your video. You never know what part of the world they're going to see your video. And you never know that they might just turn up someday as a result of seeing your piece of video. So that's the great thing about it. It is fun, it is exciting. You want to keep it informative, right? So it's got to be informative to the person watching it. So it's got to be something that they maybe didn't know. Maybe you're teaching them something, you're trying to educate them about your business, your product, your service, what it is you do. Keep it engaging, so fast moving, some music in there is a great way to keep it more engaging, subtitles, telling somebody something that they didn't know, or stick around to the end of the video. We've got a discount code coming up for you that you're going to be able to get whatever, you know, again, that keeps people engaged as they're watching the video. And then keep it creative. That's really important as well. As I already mentioned, you know, there are lots of ways to make your video content more creative. And we're going to talk a little bit about those creative aspects as we move through this morning. So when it comes to videos, those are the 4 key things to keep in mind: fun, informative, engaging, and creative. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that there are people watching this workshop this morning on the replay who are much more creative than I am. This will be a breeze if you are a creative person. But there's lots of great ideas out there where you can get ideas if you're not just as creative as you'd like to be. And that's a great place to be thinking about and looking at what other people are doing and tapping into their creative processes and maybe trying to implement some of that into your video as well. I also want you to be thinking today about becoming your own media channel. And that is the great opportunity that we now have in 2021. Everybody is their own media channel. You don't need to necessarily rely on the local newspaper or, you know, the radio or the TV to get your message out there. You can get your message out there relatively easy as a result of using social media platforms. And, you know, we're not here to talk about what social media is today, but the reach that social media provides is staggering. I mean, when we think about it, you know, you can post something on Facebook, for example, you can use a few hashtags, and before you know it, you have people tapping into that piece of content from different parts of the world, from different locations, different age demographics, different profiles, just feeding into that piece of content and consuming it. So you want to become your own media channel. The great thing about becoming your own media channel is that if your content starts to get traction, then that's going to be noticed by other media channels, notably the local newspapers or the TV stations or the radio stations. So again, that amplifies your piece of content that you posted out. But one of the wonderful things that I love about social media is that I am my own media channel. Wayne Denner is his own media channel. You know, when I'm the person that's pushing out this content. And in some cases, and this is fact, you may have more reach than the local newspaper. You may have more reach than a radio station. Or as this grows, you may have more influence than a TV station. And that's hard to fathom at some point, because these are, you know, media outlets that have been around for a very long time. And social media has only been around for about 15 or 20 years. So if you use it right, huge opportunity, huge reach, and the opportunity to amplify your message to a global audience. So that's really exciting. That's one of the things that really gets me pumped up about all of this type of stuff. Sometimes many people struggle with the ideas, and I want you to keep in mind that there are ideas everywhere. As you are involved in your business, make sure your smartphone is never too far away and document everything, right? Just because you're not going to use it today doesn't mean you might not use it in 3 weeks time, 6 months time. So what I've got into the habit of doing over the past couple of years, guys, is just documenting. If I see something that I think is going to make a good picture, I take a picture of it. If I see a little bit of video opportunity, I record it and I leave it in my phone. And then something springs to mind at some point. I'm like, oh yeah, I recorded something about that a couple of months back. And I jump in, I retrieve it, and I push it out as a piece of content. Or somebody could ask a question about something that maybe is relating to my business or relevant to my business. And I may have a piece of content already on my phone. So I want you to remember that ideas are absolutely everywhere. The hardest part of all of this is sitting down today going, I need to do a video. And you sit there and you procrastinate and you procrastinate and you procrastinate. And I've been guilty of that all the time. The best ideas that I get for videos and content was when I'm walking about the street, is when I'm in my business doing something else, or I'm outside of my business and I see something that's relevant or relatable to my business, I document it. Okay, so the easiest way for you to get started in all of this is to start to document things. Maybe it's a process within your business. Maybe it's something that your business does that you're trying to sell to others. You can document it. You could record something actually happening. Maybe it could be a testimonial of a customer who's had a good experience with your business and they're just about to leave. And you could call them over and you could say, look, would you give me 30 seconds? Could we do a quick piece to camera on how you found your experience with the said business? And 9 times out of 10, people are really happy to do that. And there you have a testimonial. So getting into the habit of documenting as much as you can will be so helpful when it comes to actually pushing out and producing content. The other thing that it does as well, it helps you stockpile content. So you're going to get busy, hopefully, over the next couple of weeks and beyond, and you may not have time to do any of this. But if you have stuff produced and ready to go, it's just a matter of pushing it out at that time. You can jump in, you can do a quick tweet, you can do a Facebook post, you can do an Instagram story, and you can move on with providing the high level of service or the value that you do to your customers. So I know many of you guys today are small businesses like me, you're one-man bands, one-woman bands, and it's challenging to do all of this, but documenting and stockpiling content is a really smart way for you then at some point then to have all of that scheduled up so that it's automatically going out for you at a later date. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So the ideas are absolutely everywhere. Get into the habit of documenting, and then you'll start to stockpile pictures, videos, audio, and you'll have those available in your device whenever you need to jump in and produce a piece of content. Visibility creates opportunities. So the more visible you are across all of the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, the list goes on. And by the way, I'm not saying that you need to be on all of those social media platforms today. I'm just saying there are so many. You want to be where your customers are most active. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But visibility creates opportunities. One thing I can guarantee you today is the more visible you are on the platform, the more opportunities you're going to get. And that is a fact, okay? Because of how social media platforms work, because of search engine optimization, because of your customer actually searching and seeking out content. If you are visible, then there's a higher likelihood that they're going to be able to find you in the first instance compared to somebody who is not visible at all. So visibility creates opportunity, and opportunity creates success. Now, I know as a small business owner, this seems time consuming. This seems laborious. I don't have the time to do all of this stuff, right? But we're going to look at some smart ways that you can utilize your time more effectively to remain visible and open up those opportunities. But you do need to be pushing out the content, and you do want to be visible across most of the platforms if you can. And we're going to talk a little bit about what those platforms are in a moment and the opportunities that they possess. YouTube has the highest return on investment for video content, followed by Facebook and Instagram. Now, there's a huge opportunity for tourism on YouTube. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, okay? The more videos that you upload onto YouTube, the more search engine visibility that you get. That is a fact. And people don't really think about that, right? They're put a lot of effort into their websites and making sure that they're up to date, making sure that their content is optimized, and they kind of forget about the element of visibility when it comes from the second biggest search engine in the world, which is ultimately YouTube, by pushing and uploading regular videos to the platform. And the more that you do that, the more visible you will be overall in the search engine. And obviously Google owns YouTube. There's a huge opportunity there for the cross-pollination of your content. So I would encourage you to produce those videos, those short videos, and upload them onto YouTube. Those testimonial videos of the experiences that your customers have had, upload those onto YouTube as well. Again, the more content that you're pushing towards YouTube, the more visibility that you're going to have. So YouTube is a very often overlooked platform when it comes to visibility. And again, I'm talking about somebody going on to Google and typing things to do in Clare, things to do in Galway, things to do in Kerry, okay? You know, very general search phrase, but nonetheless, what people may do is they may, because the videos actually come up now in the search engine results, they may click on the video before they click on the actual website. Now, it's a twofold approach here. You can actually encourage your customers to produce what we call user-generated content. And that's people like me. Like whenever I go in my camper van, I bring my cameras, I bring my drone, I bring my smartphone. So I've got like all of this stuff with me. And as I'm having good experiences in these wonderful places across Ireland, I'm creating video content on behalf of the business or the organization. So that gives you a double whammy and a double opportunity there. And again, encourage your visitors who've had good experiences to create that user-generated content. Have you enjoyed your experience? Make sure you upload, make sure you tag us in any of your Instagram posts, tag us in your YouTube videos, tag us in your Facebook posts, and encourage people to do that. And you'll find that a lot of people will do that. And what that does for you is amplifies your message about the experience that particular visitor or customer has had with your business, your brand, or your organization. So again, YouTube presents huge opportunity. By this year, 82% of all consumer web traffic will be video. Okay. Yes, people are still reading blogs. Yes, people are still going on to websites, but think about you and the type of content that you like to consume. When was the last time you watched a video? You probably watched a video in the past 24 hours, maybe less. You've seen something on social media and you clicked on it and you watched it. Many of us are in buy mode right now for vacations, for staycations, and people are looking for ideas. So people are actively right now searching around, looking for last minute ideas. Where can I go on a summer holiday? You know, what can I do in a certain location or a certain region in Ireland? You know, where can I experience X, Y, and Z? So they're going, in some cases, to their social media platform, but a lot of the times they're going on to Google and they're jumping into YouTube and they're doing keyword searches and they're asking questions. Okay, so that's the key thing there. If they're asking questions, you want to make sure that you remain visible as those questions are being asked. So the opportunity. Video has become a crucial element to attract customers inward. Okay, so we're trying to bring customers into our business. Come on in, we're opened, we're here, come and experience what we have to offer. So that's the opportunity in itself, right? Real simple opportunity. So video has presented that opportunity for you to do that, to showcase your business in a different way. That you're not having to write a blog post or you're not having to upload static pictures. It's more of an immersive experience in some cases because people can listen to the video, people can watch the video, and you can be creative then in that piece of content that you're pushing out. So we know there's an opportunity there. We just need to start thinking about how we're going to produce it. So the opportunity for me this year, at least and beyond, is the staycation element. So whatever you produce and whatever you create, you know, you want to be thinking of it as a shareable piece of content. Okay, there is a viral potential as well. I watched some really good videos over the past couple of weeks of tourism businesses that were starting to open up and their creative approach towards letting people know that we're here. We haven't gone away. We haven't closed down. We are open for business and we want to welcome you in. Yes, I know we've got those restrictions and guidelines in place, but we want to still adapt accordingly to make sure that we're still getting that message out at least. And we're making people aware that, we are a COVID safe business. You can come, we've taken precautions, we've done all those types of things. So that's a huge opportunity as well, to drive action, to create more revenue. So again, by people seeing that video, watching that video, that call to action, what do you want them to do next? Do you want them to pick up the phone and phone you? Do you want them to email you to find out more information? Again, thinking about those call to actions. Educate people about what it is your business does and repurposing any content that you may have done in the past. And that's the great thing about producing anything at all, whether it's a video or a podcast or a picture, and you're uploading that to social media. Over time, you start to develop a library of content that you can repurpose. And if you go through my Twitter, for example, or my Instagram, you will see things popping up that I posted before, because not everybody has seen that piece of content. So you don't always need to be producing new content all the time. You can repurpose some of the content that you created in the past. I mean, I'm still repurposing YouTube videos at like 5 years old, because the message, the information is still relevant in 2021 as it was 5 years ago. So I don't always have to be producing new videos. I repurpose older videos. Sometimes I slice them up a little bit faster and I cut them a little bit shorter and I push them out through Twitter. But a lot of the times I'm repurposing older content and things that I've produced in the past as well. So keep that in mind as well. Stockpile your content, repurpose your content, push that out, because you have new people, new eyeballs looking at your content all the time, and people who haven't seen it or people who are coming across it for the first time. And that's the beauty of repurposing our content. Tourism sells emotions, experiences, passion, and adventure. And if you are a business in that space, that's the great thing about this staycation world that we find ourselves in, right? The connection, right, to getting out into the outdoors and exploring experiences and adventure. And again, getting those messages across in our images, in our videos is really important. And that's something that we want to be focusing on as well. Of the people that say they have been convinced to buy a product or a service or watching a band's video, 84%. So we've got 84% of people now that say they've bought something from a business or an organization as a result of watching a video. So we can see here, 84%. That number is increasing all the time. 84% of people have made that decision to buy a product or a service by watching a brand's videos. And again, put yourself into the shoes of a customer, like a destination, for example, or a location or a hotel or some form of product or service. The likelihood is that you may have come across some video on social media that says, yes, that's exactly what I want. And that video has influenced you one way or another to make that purchase. So again, the more of this that you're pushing out, the higher the likelihood is that somebody is going to convert and become a customer or buy your product or your service. So that's quite high. And that shows, again, that opportunity of producing that regular video content. 69% of people say they have preferred to learn about a product or service by watching a video. And again, that's them learning about that product or that service as a result of watching something maybe on Instagram or again on YouTube. So some of the numbers around this type of stuff that shows that, yes, this is what I, as a business owner, as a small business owner, need to be thinking about in 2021. I need to be thinking about letting people know about what it is I do, those products or those services. What better way to do that and what more effective way to do that by capturing a piece of video and pushing that out. And again, there's so many places to push that out, on Instagram, for example, or Facebook, or Twitter, or YouTube, and even LinkedIn, for example, and other social media platforms all provide some level of video capability. They all offer it at the moment. So again, it is about being visible. It's also about making that emotional connection. So 2 out of 3 travelers are watching videos when deciding on a trip and related accommodation or activities, 2 out of 3. So when they're deciding, they're thinking about that trip, they're watching, they're consuming videos. 63% of travelers are watching videos when looking at a particular destination. Okay, so think about that, right? Before they even go to there. Like, I'm going to ask you a question right now. Would you book a hotel room without checking out TripAdvisor? Would you book a hotel? Most of us go on to TripAdvisor. We type in the hotel potentially that we're looking to go and stay in. Before we take out our wallet and we enter our credit card number, we just want to read the reviews really quickly and we want to see what people have said. That's one form of content, right? Even it's interesting to see what TripAdvisor is doing now, where you can upload videos and things like that of your experience, making it a little bit more dynamic, as opposed to somebody sitting and writing a full big blog post on their 2-week trip in, wherever they went. You can now record a video of that experience. So that's something to think about, how video has been integrated into the whole review-based world that we find ourselves in now. But most of us, me included, I mean, I read reviews before I decide to book a hotel, for example, or stay at a particular destination. I'll read the reviews, and there's review websites for absolutely everything now. TripAdvisor is probably one of the most well-known that we all know, and we've probably come across before, and we've used ourselves. So think about the type of videos that you want to create. Okay, I've mentioned a few already. A video about what it is your business or your organization does, right? That's a starting point. That's you coming out and letting people know what it is. But there are so many other views. There are how-to videos, like there are customer testimonial videos. There are behind the scenes videos. There are something that's happened in your business that you think, wow, that's really interesting. And I'm going to record that right now, and I'm going to put that out as a video. Right? It could be a video about you talking about other things to do in the local area. It might be a video of you collaborating with other businesses. And I think that's a huge opportunity. I mean, I've stayed last year in particular, I was out on the West Coast, and I stayed in a couple of places, and I really struggled. I'll be honest. I really struggled to find out things to do in the area that I was staying in. And that's really important. It was quite remote, but not that remote. But I really struggled. Like, we struggled to find out what local activity providers were in the area. Now, yeah, you could go and you could ask somebody, but you might be sitting in your caravan or in your tent or, in your motorhome, and you're going through Google and you're really struggling to find things to do. And that tells me there's a visibility opportunity there for local businesses to come together and collaborate, right? So collaborate together and maybe produce a series of videos, right? Because let's face it, if we're all working together, a rising tide raises all ships or boats. So what we want to be doing is collaborating as much as possible, so that we're letting people know what our business down the road does, our business up the road does. And again, maybe there's an opportunity there to come together and jointly produce video content to let people know about what it is available in the locality and in the local area. So there are so many different things and opportunities that you can produce when it comes to video content in particular. The big one is showcasing your business. Ultimately, this is all about you in the first instance, and offering those virtual tours. And there's a really good example of somebody who's yet to visit your business, taking them on a virtual tour, what they can expect when they're there. And I love that sort of stuff, because that heightens your anticipation. It gets you excited, before, you're not giving everything away, but you're taking people on a little bit of a virtual tour about what the experience is going to be like when they're there. Of course, the video is not going to take away from that. Absolutely not. Because the whole part of tourism is the experience. It's about being there. It's about being in the moment. But you have an opportunity there to offer that virtual tour of what it's like in your particular business. Maybe there's an opportunity to introduce your team. Who am I going to see when I'm there? Like, who's the characters? Who do I need to be on the lookout for? Making introductions. And that's something that's really nice as well. Telling people what to expect when they arrive there and those types of things. Providing travel tips. How to get there. And I've relied on Google Maps and sent me to some weird places. But imagine having, like, here's how you get here, and here's the best way to get here. Again, you're making it easy, you're making it convenient, but it's another piece of video content. And this might seem to most of us, no, it's not that exciting or that's, but People will find that interesting. That's another visibility opportunity in the search engine. How to find us video, right? If you're coming from here or here or here, here's how to get here, and here's the best way to get here. And here, actually, here's the most stress-free way to get here. I love those types of videos. You know, we take the hassle out of it. We're going to show you the route to go, pop this in, here's the coordinates, you're there, those types of things. Reviews and customer testimonials that we talked about a couple of moments ago, huge opportunity there. The amount of times I've stayed in places and nobody's ever asked me for a review, ever. Nobody's ever come up to me and says, hey, would you mind doing a quick video testimonial for us? Or I noticed that you're flying your drone around the place. You know, would you be interested in, you know, sharing that footage with us so we could use that? Absolutely. So again, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I would really encourage you that whenever a customer has had a good experience, and you're going to know this, right? You don't need me to tell you that. You're going to know, jeepers, that bus tour that came in today, they absolutely love this place. Capture 5 testimonials of those people before they disappear into the ether. Okay. Ask them, is it okay if we feature this on our social media? Right. Some people are maybe going to say, no, we don't feel confident. That's okay. But there will be a lot of people who say, yeah, sure, no problem. You know, or can you leave us a review on our TripAdvisor page? Or can you give us a review now that we're going to put up on our website as a testimonial? Those types of things are really important as well. And visibility, actually, when the person's there, if you can create some point of sale about the place, follow us on our social media. Like, I love that. Whenever I go to places, I'm always like, I can't find these people on social media. Like, I want to follow as I'm going through the experience. I want to be tagging you. I want to be taking pictures. I want to be hashtagging. I want to be doing some marketing for you while I'm there. Because here's the thing about it. I have an audience as well. Like, I have X amount of 1,000 followers on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or whatever it is. If I'm taking videos when I'm experiencing your business, then that's going to amplify what it is you do, and more people are going to know about it, because the people who are connected with me are going to see it. So make it easy for me to know about your social media presence. Tag me and post. Like I was saying today, reach out to me today and say, look, Wayne, really enjoyed the workshop today, whatever it is, you know, here's my Twitter ID, you know, let's connect, because I will, you know, retweet stuff that you're going to be sharing and posting over the next couple of weeks. So again, make it easy for your customers to be able to do that as well. That's really important. So you want visibility. If you're on Instagram or YouTube, follow us here, get connected with us as well. Highlight amenities and opportunities, really important if there is any upgrading opportunities, and use that emotional connection, you know, as well, you know, tell a story. And that's really important, because people love nothing more than stories and experiences. And if you can tell that through your video content, that's going to resonate more with people as well. Okay, let's take a short sort of 5 minutes break for you guys to just go and stretch your legs. We're going to be right back at 10:20 to pick it up again. If there is any questions, I'm going to jump into the chat now. I've seen a couple of notifications there at the moment. I'll pick those questions up. I'll see you guys back here in five minutes. The road one will cost you about 30 to 40 pounds, euro thereabouts to buy, but it's a little clip-on microphone that will clip into the bottom of your smartphone. And if you're talking, it will capture the best quality audio coming out of your mouth. if you rely on the microphone in the smartphone, it's typically not that good, okay? So here's what I'm talking about, a small little investment. I don't want you spending lots of money, but small investment makes all the difference, okay? You've already got the smartphone, a clip-on lavalier microphone. Look for the Rode Smart Lav is what I'm going to recommend. It's the cheaper option than these wireless ones that I have here. But if you like wireless, they're really good, but they are about 120, 130, depends on where you buy them. I've got all the links for all of this stuff on here, but a cheaper alternative to that is the Rode Smart Lav microphone. Pop into the bottom of your phone. Now, this is for iPhone, by the way. Now, the microphone will work on Android as well, but you need an app to edit your videos, okay? And the app that I recommend you take a look at is Splice. Unbelievable. I cannot tell you how good this app is, right? Now, don't shoot the messenger here, right? It's not free, okay? You get a free trial, and then I think it's $2.99 a week, or it might even be a month. I can't remember. If you've got a GoPro like me, you actually get it for free. Somehow they've done some deal with GoPro, but it is fantastic. Like, I use Adobe Premiere for editing my videos. I don't even want you to go there, because the learning curve on something like Adobe Premiere is really steep, right? This app is the best video editing app I have found. They have royalty-free music that you can use. They have all the different cutaways. If you want to do swipe cut, flip cut, morph cut, all of that type of stuff, right? This is really good. Very simple to use. And it's drag and drop, which is fantastic. So Splice, if you're an iPhone user, is the app that I'm going to recommend that you guys take a look at. I would highly recommend you just take the subscription on it. And you're going to thank me, right? And if you don't, I'll give you your money back, because it's that good, right? It's just simple to use. It does all of the different, you can put text on your video. You can put, like, you know, different images coming in. You could do swipe aways. You can, again, royalty-free music in there. You can blur. There's a ton of stuff that you could do with this app. It is a fully featured video editing app on your smartphone and works really well. I'm probably overcooking it at the moment, but it's just really good. Because I've used that many crap video editing apps, that this one is one that's definitely worth taking a look at. Okay, so that's for iPhone at the moment. So if you're an iPhone user, I know some people are like me, and that's all you use. That's fantastic. That's what I'd recommend you take a look at. If you're an Android user, again, the microphones will work. Smart Lav microphone, tripod's going to work. You don't need to worry about that. If you're looking for a video editing app, this is an app called Power Director. Sorry, it's available for a company called Cyberlink. That's what they're called. Power Director is the alternative. In my opinion, not as good as Splice. And that might be because I'm a little bit biased towards Apple, potentially, but I just haven't found it as intuitive as the Splice app. Some people say it is, and it's maybe because I haven't used it fully for my video editing, but it is a real close contender to the Splice app. So if you're an Android user watching the video today, the replay, or you're watching live, that's what I recommend you take a look at as well. So again, this is very small investment stuff, not a lot of money. They charge as well. You get a free trial for like 7 days, and then you have to upgrade it. But I would recommend, guys, hands down, that you have at least one really good video editing app on your phone. You don't want to be fapping around with laptops and going into iMovie. iMovie's terrible, by the way. I wouldn't even use it. I don't like it. It's clunky. It's basic. When you watch a video on it, it crops and it does all sorts of weird stuff. I just don't like it. These video editing apps now, the new hybrid version of video apps that are coming out, are a lot more flexible. I've tested both of these. I know they're going to work. And that's the thing about it, is like, I'm not going to send you into the iTunes store and say, go look for one yourself, because you'd be there all day, because I can tell you right now, there are a lot of terrible apps out there. These are two, cut to the chase. Here's what you need to know. Both in small subscription, not much, but will do the job really well for you. Whenever you're recording your videos, guys, try to think about different shots. I always recommend, unless you're doing Instagram stories, you shoot landscape, okay? You've got a bit more flexibility, okay? Portrait, you can use for your Instagram stories. And this is where you need to think about where you're going to post the video. If you're going to post it on Facebook, if you're going to post it on Twitter, if you're going to post it on LinkedIn or YouTube, you probably want to be shooting it as landscape. Okay, it's going to give you more flexibility. Okay, if you're putting it up on, let's say, Instagram stories, then you're going to have to shoot it portrait. Okay, so you want to think about that ahead of time, right, before you do your video, because I've got caught out going, oh, that would have been really good on Instagram stories. They can't use it now. Now I know you can go in and you can play about with it on Adobe Premiere, but you're having to fap about with aspect ratios and all that type of stuff, and you don't want to be bothered. Okay, so keep in mind that think about where you're going to put the video. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be landscape that you're going to shoot that video. Okay, so you want to think about that as well. So you want to have a couple of different shots, and I always recommend you go for a wide shot, you go for a close-up shot, different perspectives, sometimes like down below, up above, those types of things are really cool. Over the head shots is what I mean there. Okay, and that's really helpful. Then whenever you bring it into your editing software, you've got a variety of shots to choose from. But that's what I would recommend, at least when you're sort of starting out. You don't need to really think about anything more than that. I suppose the only thing you need to think of is your audio quality, and I've already mentioned that. What's going to fix that for you is a nice little smart Rode Lav Plus microphone clipped on. That's going to do the job. You don't need to worry too much more about anything else after that. For the most part, your variety of shots will do the job for you. Don't forget about the audio. There's a huge opportunity to create podcast content, and that's something that I want you to think about as well. Although we're talking about video today, actually, you can produce podcasts out of the video content that you're producing, because you can bring it into an app like Voice Record Pro if you're recording your audio separately. And in some cases, you may want to do that, and you can repurpose that as a podcast. Now, why would this even matter, Wayne? Why should I bother doing podcasts? Well, a lot of people listen to podcasts when they're traveling, okay? So they may not actually have the bandwidth or the 3G or 4G to be able to stream video, but they want to get on a flight, and they're on a flight for 9 hours and they're listening to podcasts. And that's the huge benefit of podcasts. So I would encourage you to think about producing audio versions of your content as well that people can listen to and people can experience, because that provides another visibility opportunity when you upload them to the internet and social media platforms as well. Okay, but I don't want to overwhelm you with other content types, but I'm just getting you to think about, you're already doing it anyway. You can take the audio out of that, you can detach it, and you can build it into a podcast as well. That's something to think about as well. You're going to need somewhere to host your podcast, and here's a free podcasting hosting platform, which is owned by Spotify, called Anchor. Really simple to use. It's drag and drop. In fact, they've got an app on your phone that if you don't want to use the Voice Record Pro app, you can just record the podcast directly into the phone. So again, really simple to do. You don't need anything new because you've already got your microphone, you've already got your smartphone, you're good to go. So you're just doubling up on your content. You're just producing another variant of the content. And keep in mind as well that not everybody wants to read. Some people want to watch, or some people want to listen. So if you're giving your audience content in different formats, they're going to choose the format that is most suitable for them at the time. And again, I produce a podcast on a monthly basis. I think podcast is brilliant for tourism. When I used to do a lot of flying to different parts of the world, I used to love listening to the travel podcasts on the flight. So it would tell me a little bit more about the destination, what I could experience, the things that I could see, and I could listen to that in an audio format as opposed to watching the movies. So again, people do want to be educated. So podcasting provides a really unique opportunity for that as well. So consider that as well. Think about the different audience demographics. So think who's going to be looking at your content. Is it somebody interested in city breaks? Is it families? Is it somebody interested in an adventure holiday as well? So think about the different types of people that are going to be consuming your content. Is it couples? Is it activity? Is it food, arts, or culture? Okay, so again, it's about breaking that down into the different areas and producing the content for the target customers as well. Think of your purpose. What is it you're trying to do? And I know everybody's going to say to me, Wayne, I want to make money. I need to build sales, right? I need to get customers, okay? So that's really important that you know the purpose of what you're trying to achieve with your content. Are you trying to generate new leads? And what I mean by generate new leads, it's maybe people that aren't going to become a customer today. They're not going to buy right away, but you're going to get them to join your email list. You're going to get them to subscribe to your YouTube account. You're going to get them to follow you on social media. And those are leads, okay? So that's important as well. Is it brand visibility? Like, I'm only starting to read the messages here on screen of all these different places that I didn't know anything about until today, which is fantastic for me, right? People are sharing their websites and they're telling me a little bit about what they do. Brilliant, okay? So that's, I guess you could call brand visibility as well. That's you letting me know what it is that you do. When it comes to video, you're producing that video content and you're pushing it out through the social media channels, which is really important as well. And then what's new for 2021? Like, you've had to adapt your business. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've had to adapt my business. My business, you know, has changed so much over the past 18 to 24 months. It's unbelievable. I can't even recognize it in some cases because of COVID-19, I've had to adapt. I've had to bring in new services. Like my studio here, for example, we spent a lot of money investing in all the different technology for me to be able to do what it is I do so that you guys can have a good experience, hopefully. But I can still deliver my video content. I can still deliver my training to people no matter where they are. So that's new for me, but it's important that I let my customers know that that's available. And one thing I've been doing in my email marketing is, and any of you guys who do email marketing, and we could do a full workshop on email marketing, God, but think about building into your email marketing outbound emails, what's new for 2021. Let people know. So if you are an email marketer like me, where you're sending out an email once a week or, you know, every 2 weeks or whatever it is, you want to have that fixed on your email, that every email goes out, you're letting people know about what's new for 2021. Build in your customer testimonials into your outbound emails as well. So that when people are engaging with your email, they're able to see more than just the message that you want to get out to them in the moment of that particular email. So you're trying to engage with them a little bit more through the content on the email. So new for 2021 is important as well. And to include that and let people know, that could be a video in itself. Look, check out our new for 2021 video. This is what we have this year for you to come and experience at the particular business. Let people know about it as well. So remember, keep it fun. And again, this is me revisiting what we touched on in part one. Keep it fun. It's got to be fun, right? Do not let this get laborious, stress you out, because you don't want to do it, okay? Keep it fun, right? You are in a fun business environment experience, you know, make sure that comes across. Keep it informative. Again, I'm reading down through these messages right now, and I'm seeing, you know, what people have to offer in their businesses. Okay, so it's informative in the sense I want to know more about it. You know, I'm going to be going into these websites and finding out a little bit more information. I'm going to be making that list of places I'm going to call to visit as I go with my camper van. Keep it engaging as well, and that's where the app's going to really help when you're editing your video. Fast moving, music in there, you know, different images, different cuts. That keeps your video engaging and also helps make it creative as well. So again, just giving you some examples. So plan, produce, publish, and promote. Okay. Now, this is really important. You got to plan what it is you're going to do, but don't do too much planning or it'll not get done. Produce your content. You got to publish it on the internet or social media or on your website, and you got to promote it. Up at the top right-hand side is the 50-50 rule. Most people don't adhere to that. People go 80-20 when it comes to content. And here's what they do. They spend 80% of their time, energy, effort, budget on producing the said video. They bring a production company in or a video company in and they ask them to do it. And then all the budget goes in that. And they leave nothing for promoting the video, okay? That's not a good idea. There is no point in you doing any of this if you're not going to promote it, okay? And you have to be promoting it. The more you push it out through social media, in some cases, if you run some Facebook ads on your video, more people are going to see it. So you want to keep that in mind. 50% of your energy, your effort, and your investment on the creation of, and then 50% of your energy, investment, effort on promoting it as well, letting people know about it. Look, I've seen videos, I've seen companies who spent hundreds and hundreds and thousands of pounds on videos, and you go onto their YouTube channel and like 5 views. I mean, that's really depressing for them. You know, that's not good. And the reason the views are so low is because they didn't leave any money in the kitty, or they didn't leave any energy in themselves to promote it. And that's where it's pushing it out through social media, tagging people in your video, using hashtags. Again, you know, like getting the content in front of people, getting people to see it so they can retweet it, so they can share it, so they can watch it, so they can engage with it. And that's the element that you want to be focusing on as well. So put your energy and your effort, and keep some energy and effort back. So whenever it comes, right, we've done this really great video, we're going to get it out to people. Tag me in the bloody video, and I'll share it for you as well. You know, tag, you know, people who've got maybe 8,000 followers, 10,000 followers on Twitter, you know, because I've got people who have got more followers than that again. And what's the chances they might see it, and then they're going to share it in their network, and it goes even further. Simple to do. It doesn't cost you any money to tag somebody in a video or to use a hashtag. That's free. You can do that at any time. You can certainly run Facebook ads, and that's a whole different ball game as well. You don't need to necessarily be spending lots of money on Facebook video ads to get people to see it. But if you're strategic and you are a little bit sort of forward thinking in what hashtags am I going to use here today that's going to help amplify this video? What people am I going to tag in it? Now, be careful with tagging. Some people get funny about that. I don't really get funny about that. I don't mind people tagging me in a video. If you think it's going to be relevant to me and it's of interest to me, then cool. And I'll absolutely like that, and I'll retweet that, and I'll share that on. So there are lots of people who do that. And I know lots of people across Ireland who will do that, who I'm already connected with, and they'll retweet it on. It's going to amplify your message even further. So keep that 50-50 rule in mind. The purpose of all of this, guys, is to create the content to get people looking at your business, right? That's the starting point, okay? People may not buy or pick up the phone or send you an email at that point once to see the video. And sometimes that can be disheartening. Like, I've seen me do videos. I can tell you, I've done some videos over the years that I thought they were the best things in sliced bread. And I only to put it out into the ether, into social media, nobody watched it. It's happened. It happened to me, right? But there is an important thing to keep in mind, right? Just because somebody doesn't pick up the phone to me, send me an email, make a booking with me to deliver some training, doesn't mean that they haven't seen it or that was a waste of time. Okay, what tends to happen is people store it in their memory until some point that they need it. So your opportunity there is to go right back in, create more content, build trust, and then that is going to turn into a sale at some point. Because I've seen people who've seen my videos and said to me, oh yes, you know, and they phoned up at that time and they've got me on the phone and we've been talking. They go, oh yeah, I seen that video 6 months ago, but they're only phoning me 6 months later because something at that point has piqued their interest or brought it back to their attention that they said, yeah, I need to give that guy a call. It's exactly the same thing with your businesses. If you're more visible, if you're pushing out more content, at the time I'm coming to that location or that area, you're the person I'm going to think about, and you're the business that I'm going to come and experience. So create eyeballs, store, create more, build trust, and generate sales. Okay. So what goes into your video marketing toolbox, right, Wayne? What are the apps that I need to know about as well? I've already told you about Splice. I've already told you about Power Director from Cyberlink. They're essential, right? Definitely, hands down. Okay. Definitely. And you'll thank me for this at the end, right? Whenever I come and if I stop off, you're going to say, that app's really helped me, because I don't want you going near Adobe Premiere and trying to figure out how to do video editing and all that type of stuff, right? I just want you to be able to record the video on your phone, go into the app and be able to edit it, right? And it's drag and drop, right? It's not complicated at all. You'll be able to figure it out in 15, 20 minutes and you'll be off then, right? That's what I want. I want you to be off. I want you to be at the races, right? I want you to be away. I don't want you to be saying, yeah, that was a really good workshop. Now I got to go and download Adobe Premiere and figure that thing out. You don't need to do that. If you want to, that's fine. Like, you know, that's cool. But what else can we look at? What other apps are out there, Wayne, that are really useful? Okay, here's a quick run through some of the apps that I want you guys to take a look at. Adobe Spark. Okay, and although I'm lambasting Adobe a couple of moments ago, they actually have an app that's really useful for video. It does some editing, but it does some cool features as well. It's a free app. It's definitely worth taking a look at because it does enhance your videos further. So you might find that you edit your video in Splice or Power Director or one of those types of things, and then you bring it into Adobe Spark because you want to make it animated in some way. That's a way to do it, okay? Adobe Spark. It's definitely worth taking a look at as well. It's free, so why not? Videorama. I really like this app, right? Now, it is a bit of a video editor, but I don't use it for that, right? Now, it's a freemium app, okay, which means they have a free version, which it's quite basic. I think I paid something like, I want to say $60 for a lifetime license to it or something like that. It was something along those lines, right? But this allows you to do those square videos. Do you ever see those square videos on social media where somebody's uploaded a square video and they put a big load of text, they put a big text on top of it, and they have like, you know, some subtitles or something else running along the bottom. This is the app that allows you to do that, okay? So it'll allow you to do portrait videos, it'll allow you to do square videos, and it'll allow you to do landscape videos, right? But here's the deal with this, okay? You still record your video on your phone or you edit it somewhere else and you bring it into this app for further enhancements. The enhancements that I mean is a square video with a call to action at the top and a call to action at the bottom, okay? There's lots of these videos about you'll have seen them if you look through your social media. Most people are doing them using the Videorama app. It's brilliant. It's a really good app. In fact, at Christmas, you can put snow on your video. You can do lots of cool things with it. It's an effects tool as well. So it's really good. So it's definitely worth checking out as well. You can put your Twitter handle on it. You can put your website address, those types of things that you typically can't do on some of the other apps that I've already mentioned. So Videorama, it's not an essential by any means. There is a free version. You can go in and try it out. If you go onto my Facebook or if you go onto my Facebook or even go onto my Twitter account, you'll see examples of me using the Videorama app with the square videos. So if you see a square video coming from me, that's where I've done it. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's what he's talking about. I can see that now. But it does other cool things as well. Canva, going to talk about that in a moment. Quick Layout is an Instagram app where you can sort of do pretty cool layouts for Instagram, and you know, if you're doing image driven stuff as well. Camera Plus is a photo editing app. It's a bit like Photoshop, but not as complex to use, where you can enhance your photos a little bit more. And there might be a case where you've taken a picture. I took a lovely picture one time out in the West Coast, Connemara direction somewhere, of one of my kids on a beach looking out into the ocean. And the picture was really flat whenever I took it on my phone, but when I brought it into Camera Plus and I enhanced some of the saturation and the hues and different things like that, I've got it framed in my house. It looks amazing. So again, it allows you to do those really enhanced photos, which, you know, you're probably going to want to do if you're looking to showcase what it is your business does. So that's a good way to do it. It's a great little app as well. And then Cut Story, where it allows you to cut up your Instagram stories into 10-second videos. So instead of you having to upload I know Instagram does this as well now. It used to do it, Snapchat used to do it, but this does it a little bit more effectively. And that's an app, certainly, if you're going to be using Instagram stories and you want to chop up your video into the little 10-second ones as well. It's worth a look as well. Okay, Canva, highly cannot recommend this enough, especially for video stuff, because there is video elements now built into Canva. You can do some basic video editing. Not only that, you can create videos within Canva as well, and animated videos, which will save as an MP4, where you can promote your business. So I would recommend you take a look at this. Up until about 6 months ago, I wasn't sold on the paid version of Canva. Now I am, because of what it does and the flexibility that it adds. There is stock imagery built in there. There's graphics. There is, if you've got to have anybody else working on your content, you can invite them in to do things, and it saves everything to the cloud. So again, the free version is pretty good, does a lot, but I've found more recently the pro version has given me a lot more flexibility and a lot more access to templates. That's the other big thing with this. And that's what Canva does really well, where it helps you come up with the ideas. So you can go through the template library and it's literally drag and drop. you're just dragging your elements into it and you're saving it out. So any of my graphics for my videos, I always do them in Canva. And then I bring them into like Splice and I drop them in there on screen. So highly recommend as your editing software of choice. Photoshop, massive learning curve. Do I use Photoshop? Occasionally. But for the most part, Canva is my go-to. The other great thing about Canva, guys, it's got an app available for iPhone and Android as well, and you can use it on your tablet as well, which is really useful. So that's the one I'm going to recommend that you take a look at, and it's not that expensive to have the premium version of it with all of those different assets and elements as well. Now, music. Somebody asked about music earlier on. I'm going to address that question right now. What I'm going to recommend is, don't rip any music off the internet because you will get a copyright strike or worse, a letter from somebody saying you've infringed their rights or whatever. You don't want that, and you don't want to be any of that sort of stuff. So YouTube free music library, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's some great music up there, and it's just a matter of going into your YouTube account and Googling YouTube free music library. I'm going to have a link in the PDF anyway for you guys. That's where I get most of my music from, okay? Because it's pretty decent for the most part. And I know I'm not going to run into any issues with a copyright strike or Facebook muting my video because it was a copyright infringement. I've had that in the past where even if you have a background song playing on the radio, Facebook can mute your video out as well. You don't want that because you want people to hear. So the YouTube free music library is always going to be my first recommendation. The second recommendation that I'm going to recommend is a website called upbeat.io. I just came across this recently, actually. It's brilliant. In fact, if you create an account, I think you're allowed to download 10 songs a month for free. And that's what I do for the most part. Now, the only caveat I'm going to say about this one is that you have to credit the creator in your YouTube video, right? So if you're uploading that video for YouTube, I always put the credit in the description. So just, copy it out of the video and just stick it in there. And that keeps you right. You can forget about it from that moment on. You just don't even need to worry about it. But there's a great selection of music and effects as well on the upbeat.io website. And that's the other one that I recommend. They're about two of the best at the moment. I haven't found anything else. There is others. There's another one that I used to use. Oh, I can't even think what they're called, but they charge like $15 a month. And I binned it because I just wasn't using it enough. These here, YouTube Music Free Library, free, and this one as well. Some people say you can get stuff off SoundCloud. I've never really been comfortable with that because if you don't credit the artist and you do it the wrong way around, you're maybe going to run into trouble. Where at least with this here, you're going to be protected. Adrian asked about the CyberLinks part. Yeah, I've used it when I've had a Samsung device, and I found it pretty good. Is it as good as Splice? Not in my opinion, but then I don't have an Android device to sort of back that statement up fully. It could be good. And that's me just saying, I haven't looked at it recently, to be honest, but it does much more than most of the free Android apps are going to do. So if you're an Android user, I would definitely be opting for that. If you're an iPhone user, 100% Splice all the way. It's going to do your job all day long. I know this. And I'm pretty sure Power Director does most of what Splice does because they're rivals. In fact, if you Google it and you're looking for it, Splice and Power Editor or Power Director are always going to come up in the blog posts that people write as well. So definitely, you're not going to go wrong. You can't go wrong really with those two apps. And then finally, another tool that I'm going to recommend is Get Subly. I'm rambling on again. Get Subly is a tool that very good. Wait till you hear this, guys, right? Now, I'm on the paid subscription of this. There is a free version, but I upgraded recently because it was so useful to me, right? It subtitles your videos. Yeah, you don't need to fap around with YouTube and go in and change them. And the subtitling is quite accurate. Like I sometimes have a weird accent and sometimes I throw in words from time to time. The subtitling in this particular software is really accurate. It gets it pretty much spot on, and it allows me to add subtitles to my videos. Why would you want to be adding subtitles to your video? Because most people on certain platforms are watching the video with the sound off. That's fact. Okay, if you're uploading a video to LinkedIn, the sound's got to be off. People have the sound turned off because they're in work. They don't want music blaring out all over the office or in the house, so they have the sound turned off. But if you've got subtitles on your video, that provides a very unique opportunity for you to be able to still deliver your video content and people can read the words. The other thing about it as well is you can put it into different languages. So Get Subly allows you to translate it into Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, all these different languages around the world. So if you're looking to target visitors, and I know that's difficult this year, right? But if in the future, if you're looking to target people from different locations, you can upload your video to Get Subly, and Get Subly will translate it for you in the subtitles on that language. Now, I've tested it in Spanish and a few things recently, and it works quite well. I have a couple of Spanish friends, and they've said, yeah, there's one or two words maybe, maybe need refined, but for the most part, it's quite good. So that's really definitely worth a look. There is a free version where you could do X amount of minutes per month. I think I pay $10 a month and I get like 100 minutes a month. Like there's no way I'd ever do 100 minutes of subtitle video in a month. So it's really convenient. Plus you also get the ability of using the translation service as well, if you want to do that. So those are 3 tools that I recommend you take a look at. I've already mentioned Splice, not going to labor that anymore. You guys know I'm a fan of that. Go Live is the other big opportunity that I'm going to mention today. All of the social media platforms have Facebook Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and you can go live on Twitter. I would encourage you guys to be, excuse me, going live at a certain point. So even doing a little walk around, a quick little tour, here's what's happening today, here's what we're doing in our business today, broadcast that live. The reason why I say that is because those live videos rank higher up the user's news feeds. No problem, Laura, pick up the replay. Thanks for joining today. Those videos appear further up the news feed. In fact, 3 to 4 times higher because Facebook prioritizes live video. Okay, so if you're producing live video, then that's going to reach more people. So I would encourage you to do that as well. So it's going to rank higher up the newsfeed. That's what I was talking about a couple of moments ago. So your video, actually, if you've done a Facebook Live video, will rank higher than your static content, such as your little picture or your status update on Facebook. So Facebook and most of the social media platforms now prioritize live. And the good thing about live is I don't need to be following your Facebook page to be able to see your live video. Facebook will amplify the live video for you. So they actually do a lot of work pushing that video out to people because it's a live video as well. So again, it's going to take you maybe a little bit of time to think about what you could do in terms of a live video. What about doing a live Q&A? What you can expect when you come to. So next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m., we're going to be doing a live Facebook Q&A on our business. And you can ask the questions, even get people to send you in a couple of questions in advance. I don't know, even make up the questions beforehand, just to get, comfortable with producing those live videos. And again, don't worry if there's not lots of people watching them. You're not looking for hundreds of that. Well, it'd be nice. But like in some cases, I only have 20, 30 people watching a live video, but that's 20 or 30 people who maybe didn't know about what it is I do. So that's a big win as well. So again, big opportunity with live videos at the moment. So when it comes to video, guys, personality is key. So relax, don't overthink it, don't overcook it. There's no excuse for bad audio. That's really important. Don't have bad audio. I've told you today how to fix poor quality audio. Simple little clip-on microphone, lavalier, 30, 40 euro, down through your shirt, into the phone, job done, okay? Don't over practice it as well, and you don't really want to script things up. I've got a teleprompter in front of me here. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, because it can look robotic in terms of the videos. And some of my recent videos, I sort of pulled away a little bit from using a teleprompter because it did look a little bit too robotic. People like it to be natural and flowing as well. So it needs to be real and authentic. That's really important. And remember, people buy from those people that they know, they like, and they trust. Cannot stress that enough. Know, like, and trust is really important. And that's what you're looking to build in your videos as well. So make sure you're pushing your content out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to find the time to push it out in all these social media platforms? This guy's going to send me over the edge, right? I'm going to show you an easy way to do that really cost effectively and simple, okay? Because visibility creates opportunities, right? I want you to be visible on Facebook because that's where I'm probably going to come across some of your stuff. I want you to be visible on YouTube because of the search engine visibility opportunity there. And I want you to be visible on Instagram because that's a visual platform as well. You may not need to be as visible across some of the other platforms, or you may want to be. So how are you going to do that? And one of my near enough final free tools today is a tool called Publer. If you've never come across this before, check it out. 5 stars again on this one. There is a free version that's going to do exactly, you don't even need to be paying for this probably for the most part. I have found some really good features that the paid version has that I'm probably going to upgrade to, but I haven't upgraded yet, okay? I'm still on the free version of this and I have been for some time, right? This allows you to schedule your social media content to multiple platforms at the one time. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those types of places, you can schedule it all up. So you could spend 45 minutes on a Monday, type up all of your posts and add them to the queue, and they'll automatically go out for the next 7 days. So it's really handy and really simple to use. You can upload your videos as well, and your videos will go out with the posts as well. So it's a scheduling tool. The other big thing I like about this one as well, guys, is it has a hashtag suggestion feature where it will tell you based on your posts what hashtags you should use. So that's really useful as well. I was missing a slide there, apologies. That will show, it's down at the bottom, actually, you can see it in it. So that's kind of what the posts look like when they go out down at the sort of bottom right. So it'll feed you 10, 15 hashtags, and it's going to say, here is the hashtags that we think are most relevant right now based on your post. So you don't have to think about what the hashtags are, because like I struggle with that. What hashtag would somebody use? The software is doing the job for you, and it's giving you hashtag suggestions and ideas. So this is free, I think, for up to 5 social media accounts. I think you can do 50 posts a month. Look, the free version is really good and it's definitely worth taking a look at. And that's really going to help schedule your content and ensure that you're ahead of this, as opposed to panicking as hopefully the summer season sort of moves into play. Remember to include a call to action, guys. CTA, call to action. What do you want Wayne Denner to do when he sees your post? Do you want him to book now? Do you want him to click here to find out more? Do you want him to watch your virtual tour? Do you want to click here for a discount code or visit your website? Call to actions are really important. Anytime that you're posting a video or a Facebook post or a tweet, or anything for that matter, always have a call to action. What it is you want the person to do. Visit our website, pick up the phone, get in touch, find out more, and build that into your post whenever you're uploading it to the social media platform for people to see. So if you're uploading your video to Facebook, and please don't do this as well, don't upload your video to YouTube and stick the link for YouTube into Facebook. Facebook doesn't like that, okay? Always upload your video natively to Facebook. Don't outbound somebody to YouTube, because Facebook doesn't like that, okay? Your video will get more traction by doing it, uploading it to Facebook, as opposed to putting the link from YouTube into your Facebook post. That's just a wee tip that people often forget about, okay? So, but think about your post as well. What do you want the person to do whenever they watch it? Do you want them to do something next? Pick up the phone, share, ask them. People need to be informed of what it is you want them to do as well. Look, guys, it's time for you to sell your unique story, okay? Like that's the opportunity that you have today. You've all got unique businesses. You've all got brilliant businesses. I'm hopeful that I'm going to try and get around and sort of experience some of these businesses as I make my way up the coast. And I'll be there, I'm going to be producing some video along the way as well. And, really trying to help business. That's one of my reasons, although I can't tell my wife that for going on holidays. I want to get out there and I want to experience the best of what Ireland has to offer. And I want to experience your business. And I want to tell that story on your behalf as well. But the reality of it is the best person to tell the story is you. Okay. There are tools that you can use today that you can start right away in the next couple of days creating those videos. Yes, you might need to grab a little tripod and a few bits and bobs, but the reality of it is you don't need much. All of these tools that I talked about this morning are all stuff that I've used, the things that I continue to use. And I know that if you use these within your business and you take this information on board and you say, right, you know what, I'm going to take this on board. I'm going to commit to doing one video every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to do some customer testimonials. I'm going to, you will see return on investment in that effort. I can guarantee you that. It's about being consistent, and it's about telling your unique story and not giving up. Okay. Keep pushing that content, even through the winter. Keep pushing, keep recycling, keep repurposing, right? In the quiet times, keep it going, because I'll tell you, you never know who's going to come across it at a certain time from a certain part of the world, and your phone's going to ring or you're going to get an email inquiry in. And that's how it happens. Visibility creates opportunity, and opportunity creates success. Now, I want to give you a website URL that you guys can go to. Okay. Now, all that's going to be there at the moment is an email box for you to fill in your email. Okay. And once your email's in there, I'll send you out an email this afternoon with the PDF that you can get. Also, what I'm going to try to do here is, right, I'm going to try and push out maybe a monthly email on tools that I find. Now, I can't promise that I'll do it every month, but I'll try to do it. I'll try to remember. So if you're on that email list, you'll see me pushing out an odd email every so often about a new tool that I found that I think might help in your business. In the first instance, you're going to get the PDF document that's got all of the tools, all of the websites, all of the links for the tripod and the bits and bobs and the microphone that I've mentioned, and you could just go and take a look at them. If you want any further clarification on equipment, it can be anything, like everything I've probably used at some part. I'm more than happy. Don't spend money without sending me an email, right? Because the likelihood is I've bought it and I'm currently using it, or I've sent it back because it wasn't fit for purpose. So reach out if you're thinking, like, when I'm thinking of investing in a DSLR camera, what would you recommend? I can show you some stuff to look at. When I'm thinking of investing in a new microphone, what would you suggest? Or, these earphones that I have in, as opposed to using my speakers, what do you recommend? More than happy, guys, to answer those questions for you as well. Anytime, reach out and get in touch. Questions. We're going to hand it over to you now, guys. What will help? Is there any questions that you have? There was a couple came in there on the chat, but I think I've answered most of this.
And if people want to put on their cameras, Wayne, and we'll minimize, if they want to ask the question,
of course.
Their hand up.
Of course. Yes.
Have a look at the questions as well in the chat, Wayne. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to scroll through those now. If anybody wants to raise their hand, that's my contact details on screen, by the way, guys. If you guys want to get in touch there, you can at any time. But I'm going to scroll through here and see what there is. I think I asked most of these I've picked up, and I've got lots of people introducing their business. So that's fantastic as well. Just scroll up and see if we anything at the top. Okay. No, I think I've any. Does anybody have a question they'd like to ask? Let me move to.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, it's Laura here.
Hello, Laura.
Can you see me or hear me?
I can see you, Laura. Yes.
Great. I suppose I'm looking at you on my iPad here now. I work from an iPad when I do this kind of stuff, and I'm just wondering, I'm debating now whether to go back and buy an iPhone or get an upgrade on an iPad to do all these apps like Splice and all that kind of stuff. Would you recommend the phone over the iPad, or do you find much difference?
Well, for the most part, you should be able to use Splice on the iPad. I don't think you're going to have a problem there. Canva, you're going to be able to use on the iPad. I think the iPad, I have an iPad Pro at the moment, and there's a lot of flexibility with that. The camera is pretty decent. You'll be able to do most of the other stuff that I mentioned, microphone plugged in there. So I don't think you necessarily need to go and buy an iPhone. It maybe gives you a little bit more portability. But I think the iPad is probably going to do what you need, as long as it's a more of the up-to-date one, is it? Is it a more up-to-date one?
What did you say? Say again?
Is it a more up-to-date one? Is it one of the more recent iPads?
No, it's an old one. It's an old one. It's an old one. So right. I definitely have to upgrade.
Right. Well,
point.
That's
so
where
yeah.
That's where you're going to run into trouble, because a lot of the new software isn't compatible with the older hardware. So that's where you start to see things sort of a little bit under pressure. If you are considering, then I would definitely say probably go for one of the new iPhones. It's going to give you a lot more flexibility. It's portable. It's easy for you to use. And it's one thing that you're probably, you're not going to forget, because you'll have it with you all the time. So I would definitely say iPhone 11 Pro. My son's got the iPhone X, brilliant camera in that as well. If you didn't want to splash out more than one of your ones, the XR, really good cameras as well. And most of the apps will work on those as well.
Liam, there has his hand up.
Yes, Liam.
Hi, hello Wayne. Very, very enjoyable. Good meal, Matt. Two questions. One general, one specific. The general question is, with all of the opportunities for exposure that you have with the different platforms, is it necessary really for someone like me to have my own website? That's the first question. And the second question is to do specifically with me. I'm into cycling tourism. And the idea of the video is absolutely fantastic, but it occurs to me in the activity I'm about, which is cycling, going through, say, whatever, beautiful parts of the country, east, west, whatever, is there such a thing that I could get a really good camera for my head, for my helmet? Would you know one that you could recommend?
Yes, those are excellent questions, Liam. Thank you for those. And the answer to the first one, the short answer is, do I still think you need a website? Yes. And here's why, because website is your home base. Okay, that's where you want to be sending the person to. So you want to be using your social media as almost, you know, they've seen it, they've consumed it. Then you want to get them to your website where they can find out a lot more information about the meats and bones about what it is you do. So your website's still going to be really important. And you know, they still have a role to play, even though social media is what many people are using. You want to be driving traffic to your website at all opportunities. So anytime you're posting anything online, always have a link in there driving people across to your website. The more traffic that's going to your website, Liam, the better you're going to be in the search engine, because Google's going to be looking at that and it's going to be rewarding you with more visibility. So make sure that you are updating your website on a regular basis with those videos as well. So anything that you're uploading onto YouTube, take it over onto your website and embed it into your website on your videos page and those types of things. So definitely websites still important in 2021. Camera wise, I like a bit of cycling. I've got a road bike. Now I need to get back into it. My days of sort of mountain biking cycling are sort of over. I'm afraid of getting an injury, but I do like road biking and I go out quite a bit around my local area here. One thing I struggle with, and this is what I think is problematic when I go to visit places. Yes, there are lots of nice places that you can go and cycle, but you can't find any route maps. Right? You don't know how to get to these places for the most part. You can go onto Strava, and if somebody's uploaded a route map, then you're maybe going to find something. But if you're in the business of cycling tours and you know, people, you know, that type of stuff, I would be recording videos of routes actually when you're out doing these cycles yourself. And I would be having like an intermediate, a basic, an advanced, you know, and having information about the particular route. But I would be using a GoPro for that if it was me, and because you can mount that onto your head. And most of the newer GoPros now, even the software that comes with the GoPro, believe it or not, there's lots of cool things that you can do where you can plot maps and things like that. So that's something that I would explore. A GoPro 7, a GoPro 8 potentially would be ideal for that. The only caveat I would say with GoPros is make sure you take out extra batteries, because they're hungry on the batteries. But you could mount that onto your bike, you could mount that onto your helmet, and off you go, and you could start to record videos really easy.
So to answer your question, what about drone cameras?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, drones are good, but it depends on, you know, like I have a DJI Mavic Air, and you know, you're only going to get sort of 15-20 minutes flying time on those, and there is a bit of a learning curve on them. You know, I've near flown mine into a few obstacles in the past and near lost it, so that requires a bit more of a sort of planning, I suppose, to get it right. But it would certainly be good for different angles, where if you were editing that, for example, in your splice, you're recording on your GoPro, you're recording on your drone, and then you're bringing it in actually to the Splice video editing app, and you're able to show aerial footage of the particular area and the location of where somebody would be cycling through. I think there's massive mileage in that for cyclists. Videos of the routes that you can go and you know, cycle, and then maybe even stop off points along the way. Maybe there's a collaborative opportunity there with other businesses on the route. Because I mean, most of us who are cyclists aren't going out for like a 4 or 5 mile cycle. We're going out for, you know, 60, 70, 100 kilometers or whatever it is.
That's it, yeah. Listen, good meal, Margaret. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, guys? I'm grand for time. If anybody's got a burning question that they'd like to ask.
You've covered a lot there. I think people will have to digest it and review. but a very comprehensive, you've covered an awful lot there, and I guess the trick is to make it work. So that's, I think we just to let you know about the competition, which I'm kind of making up as you're talking here, but the competition is for a €250 all-for-one voucher, which I've yet to acquire, but I will. I don't know how to purchase that through the hÚdarás system, but anyway, that is the prize. For a 1 minute piece, did you say, Wayne, what would you suggest?
Yes, I think a 60-second piece would be fantastic, showcasing your business and including a call to action. And maybe if you want to experiment a little bit about adding some music in there, using the YouTube free music library, and then subtitling that video as well, would be the sort of the parameters, I think, which if you guys could do, that would give you that sort of practical ability of what we've covered in the training so far, and demonstrate that you're able to sort of execute on that. And that would be your entry into the competition, maybe. And
the deadline is 2 weeks from now, 20th of July. Which is a good push. And to be honest, there'll be a lot of people who'll be watching the recording later. I'm not sure if they'll all enter or not. But it's, you know, I think first past the post. There won't be huge competition for this, so I think go for it. Why not try? It's a small enough group that you'll be pitching against. And send and excuse my ignorance, Wayne. Will they be able to send that by email to us, or do they send links to? What's the best way to send it in to us?
I would suggest just upload that to YouTube as an unlisted video, and then send the link for the YouTube video into you guys.
Great. And you'll send it to Sarah at húdarás.ie. And Katie, would you pop that up in the chat again? That's our kind of central email that gets to myself and Katie. Show us your face there so people can see Katie. So that's kind of the generic húdarás email. And the other thing to ask anybody in the group is, remedy that's in the Gaeltachta that isn't on our database, please email us at Sarah at húdarás as well, so we have you on our database. So everybody else is welcome to events as well, but obviously our primary audience is the Gaeltachta, but we want to get as many people engaged in these kind of events to increase the attraction of the Gaeltachta as a holiday destination. So Wayne, how's your Irish? Did you ever learn, have you any Irish at all? You're going to need a few words if you come west. So
I do. I have a little bit. I'll use a bit in a minute. I do, very small. I studied a little bit at school, but keen to explore, actually, get back into it.
And that's our next big challenge, I think, is language tourism, bringing people to the Gaeltachta that just want to learn it for the crack, not for exams, not for grammar, just for the crack. And I think that's the next big thing that we'll be focusing on over the next few years. But so, Wayne, if there's anything you want to say as your parting comments, for Mila Mahagat, and thank you to everybody who came today.
No, not at all. I just want to thank everybody for giving up their time. I know people are busy, and I hope that today's workshop has added some value to you and helped you out. And again, if there is any questions, that's the sort of parting message I'm going to leave you with. Join the email list as well, because you'll get access to that PDF. But if there is any questions that you guys want to ask about anything that I've covered, even those people who are maybe watching it on the replay, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Connect with me on social media. So if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, go and search me out on those pages. Let's connect and tell me about if there's anything I can help you with moving forward, or anything you're pushing out over the next couple of weeks. I would be so happy to retweet it for you. And if somebody can send me the chat transcript from today as well, because I want to read down through all of the people who've taken the time to tell me about their business, and I want to add those to my list as well. And hopefully I'll get a chance to stop off. But other than that, for me, Slán agus Bannacht. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a million, Wayne. Okay. We should press a button, Katie, before we hang up, Captain. Okay, Grammar.